The Alpha Canine Group, pioneering new and exciting standards for realistic dog training methods, practical canine behavioural rehabilitation, and professional hands-on handler and trainer education. For the last 15 years, Alpha Dog Training has prided itself on being able to safely accommodate and effectively rehabilitate dogs with various forms of aggression in group obedience classes. These two owners and their dogs have arrived early on a Sunday morning before the first free session and guided tour, and their dogs started barking aggressively the moment they saw trainers and their dogs off in the distance. The two dogs are on flat collars and are indiscriminately aggressive to both people and dogs. As you can see, they are quite aggressive towards a couple of dogs from a distance of 40 metres or so. As you can see, the story is pretty much the same when it comes to aggressive behaviour towards people. As one of our trainees approaches, the dogs are beside themselves and are lunging wildly and actively trying to twist out of their collars. There is no doubt here at all as to what their intentions are. The Red Heeler is 2 years old and has progressively become aggressive to strangers and other dogs. The Kelpie is 6 months old and has copied the older dog's behaviour. When I asked the owners if we could film their dogs so we could show how much of a positive impact our methods would have on their behaviour, even by the end of the introductory session, I'm not so sure that they were as confident as I was as to what would be the outcome. However, this is literally just another day at the office for Alpha Dog Training. The first step towards rehabilitation is to fit the dogs with head halters. When head halters are combined with Alpha's communication and leadership principles, results are par for the course, even with aggressive dogs. Already we can see a marked improvement in the dog's behaviour, and the owners are starting to feel more at ease, and no doubt a little less embarrassed. A trainer has given the owners personal instruction that is common sense and effective. Pictured here, the owners haven't yet started their free introductory session. At the end of the free introductory session, we have made genuine steps forward in the dog's social rehabilitation. Here, two trainers are holding the dogs whilst the owners are joining up at Alpha. As usual, the aggression, despite its intensity, was not all that it seemed. This is more often the case than not. Positive leadership and canine understanding goes a long way when methods actually work.
First session at Alpha.
Now it's time to have a look at the dogs back on flat collar again. No head halter, as they were when they first came into Alpha Dog Training just 3 hours ago. What a difference. Look at both the owners and the dogs. There is a complete change after just one introductory session. This is because the principles, methods and ideals we teach at Alpha are founded on years of dedicated, hands-on research into relevant canine behavioural and learning theory. We have put our methods to the test on thousands of dogs of varying breed, age and disposition, and we've discovered many new and exciting concepts that challenge the accepted attitudes towards canine behaviours such as fear, anxiety, aggression and overexcitability. To complete this footage, we also have to recreate the common scenario of the dogs being approached by a stranger. You can imagine how often this would occur out in walks, for instance. Once again, we have a complete change of attitude from the dogs, and they are much more relaxed and safer to handle. Again, remember that this is the beginning of the rehabilitation journey, but it is an extremely positive place to start. As you can imagine, Alpha members week in and week out are seeing these transformations take place in our first timer introductory session. It's a great way to really educate owners about the realities of canine behaviour and the responsibilities that go hand in hand with dog ownership. The female owner of these next two dogs came to see me half an hour before a Wednesday evening introductory session. She was holding back the tears. Her husband was in the car with the dogs waiting to see if they could come out with so many other dogs around. She had been referred to Alpha by a behaviourist who thought that we would have a better chance of rehabilitating their dog aggressive behaviour. Dogs are on harnesses and are quite intense. You'll see instructors' dogs just sitting there being of no threat whatsoever. The black bitch is the mother of the red male. He seems to follow her lead, but then adds his own attitude on top. When I see dogs carrying on like this, it is blatantly clear that they don't see their owners as leaders. This is common and usually amounts to little more than misunderstanding, despite the apparent intensity.
Sit. Sit.
Again, we are at the end of the free introductory session and the dogs are once again in their harnesses. Harnesses are terrible for teaching and controlling dogs, and if these two want to play up now as they did a couple of hours ago, there'd be nothing at all stopping them. However, once again we see clear leadership overriding previous unacceptable behaviour. The dogs are noticeably more relaxed, as are the owners. Like the last two dogs, we fitted head halters before their introductory session, and then they joined a group of other alpha first-timers and partook in a class that covers all the important fundamentals of our practical theory and effective methods. I have a concept relating to canine behaviour that is based on the famous philosopher Descartes' saying that defines human thought and being. I think, therefore I am. With canine behaviour, however, I think it is better said, if I can, therefore I will, but if I can't, I won't. More often than not, behavioural rehabilitation is as simple as that. In both cases seen in this video brochure, the dogs were taught to listen and behave by applying the alpha-developed pattern learning training method, reinforcement contrast effect, and reset learning principle. The owners were taught how to use positive reinforcement, but they were also taught how to mark bad, unacceptable behaviour with no, and then how to give a specific and consistent physical correction. The no and physical corrections are always contrasted to much more powerful positives, and the results are there for all to see. The dogs are not broken, and trust is actually significantly increased within the relationship. A relationship that now sees the owners as leaders, with dogs happy to listen and follow, probably for the first time ever. You'll notice the owners praising their dogs and the dogs relaxing further. There has not been the need for a single correction because the positive reinforcement now has genuine currency in the rehabilitation process. Any dog can turn aggressive in the right circumstances. Even good dogs need leadership training, and owners need to learn to recognise when their dog's behaviour is potentially going to lead them into trouble. At Alpha Dog Training we have many service initiatives that will help you understand your dogs. You can find Alpha Dog Training's website at www.caninecommunicators.com.au.